People today of all ages are experiencing stress in almost every area of their lives.
Money struggles, changes in jobs, difficulty finding a job.
Moving and dealing with elderly parents.
Both stress and anxiety are normal and a part of our coping mechanism. Stress is something that comes, toward us. It's from, outside of us. It's external. Anxiety is what our relationship is to stress and how we, cope with that information coming in.
Stress is like soap for the washing machine. A little bit is actually healthy. It's good stuff. It helps create a little energy and effervescence and keeps things clean and healthy. Too much soap in the washing machine, kaboom! It overflows and you're always cleaning up a mess. Anxiety is part of our primal response system to fear. Anxiety was designed originally to keep us alive and keep us safe. But in our world today, we see excessive anxiety responses. And so when that anxiety system is activated, what happens is a person goes into either a fight or flight or freeze mode.
And we're not able to get a break or try to figure out how to work with those different stressors is when it becomes a little bit more serious. For children, many times they do not have the words for the stress that they're feeling. So with kids, it's important to be able to understand the difference in behavior for them.
So that might look like temper tantrums, that might look like tearfulness or moodiness or being very sullen and withdrawn. And it can also look like things like frequent complaints of headaches or stomach aches. And there's really no objective physical illness that can be causing that.
In teens, I think it's an interesting time in that developmentally they are just figuring out themselves and the world around them. When stress or anxiety becomes problematic is a bit of a tough one to figure out because it is normal. It's more their relationship to stress and anxiety that becomes a problem, and this idea that if I feel stress or feel anxiety, there must be something wrong. And most of the time it's not.
They're going through a lot of changes, both in their bodies, but also in their brains. So their ability to understand the world around them greatly increases. Their ability to explore new ideas and feelings is expanding really rapidly. And so the way that they process stress, some of them are going to still use some of those somatic expressions that they used as children, showing stress through moodiness, sullenness, withdrawal, physical complaints. But they're also going to start using some more adult methods of expressing their stress through worries and anxieties and depression and changes in the way that they think or feel about things.
In families, we see stress that is multiplied within the individual and the family system. So quite often with families, we use the wind chime analogy. And so if wind hits a piece of the wind chime, all the other pieces start making noise and moving about. And the greater the stress, if you can imagine this wind chime, the greater the noise. Stress tends to close people down sometimes. And when they close down too far and they're poked, then we often see in families a lot of that argumentative behavior.
In couples, I think that stress manifests in a number of ways. Often they're a little short-tempered with one another. They both rely on one another as they always have, but when one or the other's life has added challenges, their needs change. And so slowing down and really noticing what's happening, what someone is experiencing is something that I think a lot of couples struggle with.
In adults, stress manifests in many different ways. Some adults will develop an unhealthy habit, like drinking too much alcohol. Other adults become workaholics. Other adults develop physical ailments that are fairly serious. Stress can take its toll on the body.
When individuals are looking at ways to deal with stress, think about what's really important to you. And so for some of us that may mean a spa, but for others of us that may mean a hike, that may mean time with family.
We need a system of healthy habits. We need to be able to measure how much stress is okay, how much can we handle.
People need to slow down and think, contemplate, really be reflective.
Recognizing sort of those changes in yourself, how you express stress. So once you kind of learn how you react to stress usually, then you can start thinking, okay, what's changed? And why am I feeling this way? And is that thing that I'm feeling stressed out, is that something I can handle? Is that something I can handle myself and do something about? Or is that something that I need to find my way around? Or how can I change the situation that's causing me this unusual amount of stress?
At the Conative Group, we have a number of clinicians who can help with many of the stressors that individuals encounter. We have clinicians who specialize in working with children. We have clinicians who work with teenagers. We have others who work with couples and families and adults. And so if stress is overwhelming to anyone of any age, there's usually someone here who might be able to help process that and come up with some ways to make it better.